Paul, one thing that's changed certainly in the past 10 years or so is that of virtual money, cryptocurrency. Has that affected taxation around the world?
I think, two elements to this. One, the use of cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency in transactions is open to massive abuse. Why is it open to massive abuse? Because the one simple problem is no legal system applies to it. It's not like a currency issued by a government. The contracts, the blockchain contracts as they call them, the electric contracts, don't have what we lawyers call a governing law. In other words, if something goes wrong, which court do you go to? And they don't have that.
So just say that again. No rules apply.
No, none at all.
It's like the Wild West.
That's exactly what the UK Parliament called it in a report about 2 years ago. It said, but then it said, "Ooh, but if we could tidy it up, wouldn't this be good for Britain?" So this sort of double attitude they've got. What are we doing? And turning that round. So we know that cryptocurrency can be used for terrible things and blockchain transactions as well. So what are we doing in the Isle of Man? If we were a tax haven, we'd rub our hands together and say, absolutely fantastic. We want some of that. What have we done? We haven't done that. Anybody dealing in cryptocurrency businesses here is what they call a designated business. It's a piece of legislation that came in 2 or 3 years ago. And a designated business is a business that has to register with the Financial Services Authority. The people who run that business have to prove they're fit and proper, and they have to adhere to anti-money laundering. So that's a turn-off for the bad guys. The second thing is when you see people issuing these coins, they call them initial coin offerings or token offerings, and then millions are raised, and then somebody just, oops, I've lost the code on my computer and all your real world money has gone away with me, sort of thing. Well, the Isle of Man's ahead of the game on that. Along with the United States federal law and, ironically, Swiss federal law on this, there's a move afoot now to regard those coin offerings as share offerings. A simple step. And if it's regarded as a share offering, then all our very sophisticated law on money laundering, on the regulation of shares, on ownership will automatically apply. So that's well in hand. The Department for Enterprise has got a team working on that. The blockchain office are working on it. And the third element is the one you expressed surprise at. No law applies. To use a technical term, it's called meta-jurisdictional, like metaphysics. Meta-jurisdictional means there is no law applying to a smart contract. It just exists in the ether. It's almost beyond comprehension that somebody would do business without a law that governs the contract. So I'm selling you my yacht. I don't really have a yacht. I'm selling you my yacht. You pay me in a cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency hasn't passed through a bank. And my yacht certainly isn't heading to you because I didn't have one in the first place. You find out I don't have a yacht. Where do you go? You've already given me cryptocurrency, which is basically anonymous, and that's just dissolved into a whole other bunch of cryptocurrency you'll never be seen again, can't be traced. And as far as the person who hasn't had the yacht is concerned, there's no forum, there's no court you can go to because there's no law. So what are we going to do in the Isle of Man? Again, simple, because it's a sophisticated jurisdiction. Back in the 90s, we passed an Act of Tynwald that lets you work out which law applies to a contract even if it doesn't say it in the contract. And they're going to, the proposal now, it's still at the development stage with the blockchain office, the proposal now is to say that if a smart contract has been launched from the Isle of Man law will apply. Imagine, people will be able to have their electronic business bases here knowing that not only are the people they're doing business with are protected because they can come before the Deemsters, but also they themselves as sellers are protected because they can come before the Deemsters. So you turn the meta-jurisdictional, the fluffy, ethereal, no-law land, the lawless land, into something absolutely standard. And how do we do it? One line is added to the 1990s Act. Simple. And that, so you see, we're already... Tax havens don't do that. Tax havens don't bother with that. Tax havens would say a cryptocurrency can be exploited. Great. Or they'd say, oh, God, blockchain. Let's just get a lot of blockchain businesses here, and we won't regulate them. We regulate them in 3 ways. To recap, designated business, and initial coin offerings are planning to be regarded as shares, and thirdly, a blockchain will be deemed to be covered by the law of the Isle of Man, and all the clouds disappear.